I like to view every element in CSS to be some kind of box, because in a way, all elements on a web page are and can be seen as a box or rectangular box. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all there is to know about the CSS Display Property, along with its uses and why you might want to use one option over the other depending on what you want to achieve. Now, there are many display properties, but we'll be focusing on 4 today, and you will see that it's pretty straightforward once you understand how to use them. To start off, I prepared a few HTML elements over here, which consist of 2 div elements and 2 span elements, and they all have different colors to help me demonstrate today's effects. The first display property we'll be talking about is known as display block. This is the default property all divs have. So this div over here has block and this one has block as well. And with this, you can define a width and height of both of them if you want to change it. Another thing you will notice is that these 2 divs over here, they span the whole width and take up the maximum space as possible. And then they push any other contents below it or any other contents above it. That's how block element works. Now these 2 over here are span elements. And the second type of display property is called inline. This is the default display property for both of these span elements over here. This means they will take the minimum amount of space needed and share the same space. You can see this from the 2 span elements being right next to each other over here. If you've noticed, I've had the span over here with the width of 200 and a height of 100 pixels. But nothing has really changed. Now I want to show you something. Since this has a default property of block, if I take these 2 over here and I copy them and I paste them over here and save that, you can tell that this takes on the element properties. But now if I take this away over here and apply it to an inline block, you can tell that there's no effects to it. Now the third type of property is known as the inline block. This is a combination of the first 2 that we just discussed. What this does, it makes the element still inline but act as a block. So it has all the elements of an inline element which will span in the same line, but you can define a width and height for it. Right now this default is display inline. So if I say inline block, you should see the difference. And if I save that, now the properties take effect. Finally, the 4th one would be known as display none. This one acts as the name implies. Any element that has this property over here disappears from the document. So if I say none over here and save that, it disappears just as if I deleted it from the HTML over here. One of the reasons you can use this value for this property is in conjunction with JavaScript to either have a button hide or show certain elements when you click on them, which will be something we'll discuss in future videos. I think that is pretty much all there is to know when it comes to the display property. I really urge you to try them out and see what interesting things you can figure out. I will say though, there are more display properties like display flex and display grid. These are more complex than the ones we discussed today and are used for responsiveness in websites. I would love to jump into them, but this would make the video longer than it should be. And I do want to make their own videos for a better and deeper understanding of them. The resources to discuss topics in any of my videos will always be in the description below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.